let's move on over to some awesome Dutch companies. Starting with Tribe of Noise. Where is Hessel?
My name is Hessel. I co-founded a company called Tribe. Tribe of Noise is making music. Now we're in the music licensing business, and I started Tribe of Noise in 2008 because, together with my business partner, because I was being annoyed by the traditional music licensing industry. Simple fact, if you run a video production company and if you need music to go into your video production, it takes you a lot of, and if you don't want to settle with production music, or if you don't want to settle with what we call music, then you end up with long negotiations with labels, performing rights organizations and publishers to get beautiful, nice, well-produced music into your media production. And that's a pain in the ass, to be honest. I think back in those days, in 2008, it was already silly that we had to spend $10,000 for 5 weeks of negotiations to get 30 seconds of some decent music into a PowerPoint presentation, a YouTube video clip, an advertisement, or a small video production. It's crazy. So we started asking 250 musicians, like, would you like to direct license music to us? We will go out to ad agencies, TV production companies, even background music services, and we will ask them to license your music and start broadcasting your music. We shorten the value chain of all these companies. So we take out the labels, the publishers, the SCAPs, the BMIs, the performing rights organizations for a while, and we see if we can manage a system where broadcasting music, licensing music, is actually a very direct licensing experience, making sure that every buck that we earn on the front end, most of that money goes back to the artist. That's what we did with 250 folks that we thought make beautiful music. Fast forward, at this stage we represent 26,000 artists in 185 countries. We teamed up with Getty Images on the East Coast, and we asked them to start reselling our music to their 170,000 customers around the globe. We did the same thing with Pond 5, and we recently, and I'm very, very proud, have a deal in place with the wireless hi-fi system Sonos. Sonos has this beautiful wireless hi-fi system with Spotify in there, with Pandora in there, with SoundCloud in there, but they didn't have any enterprise media music service in there, so that a franchisee, a restaurant, a bar, a hotel chain, a retail outlet, or a DIY store could broadcast. From January 1st of this year on, they can globally with our content, and it makes sense because every dollar that we make, 42.5 cents of that dollar goes directly to the musician. And to put it into perspective, that's 5 times more than the traditional music industry is doing. We have some of the artists in some of our programs that make more money in a few weeks in our programs than Lady Gaga is doing for a whole month on Spotify. And that's I would like, because it's I had a slide in here which actually showed you the complexity of music licensing. I got rid of them. Just know that we have 4 law firms and 2 legal entities within our own company, and I still work with the same dream team that I had in 2008. I still work with them today to fix issues in the music space. But to make it like simple and also put one of our musicians in the spotlight, I would like to show you a small 1-minute video. Hopefully ever Greg help me out.
Everybody now.
La-da, so inspirational. La-da, it's sensational. La-da, so celebration of just you and me. We're walking hand in hand, not making no plans, just talking. With nothing in particular is coming. A lifetime of summer dreams that we fall in. We're singing louder, louder, so inspirational, louder, louder. It's sensational, louder, louder, so celebrational, just you and me.
Thank you very much.
Sorry about that, guys. We're highly technical people, but we don't know how to work microphones or projectors.
With 26,000 artists, how do people find music that they would be interested in to license?
We do a lot of manual curation. So within our team, we have a couple of folks that we give them the title that they have golden ears. They understand what the business wants. They tag all the song, every single song that comes in is manually tagged by human beings. We have been working for many years with you know, high standard universities, and they didn't come up with like a proper algorithm so far, so we are doing this manually. But that means that by curating the music, we're giving every professional access to high quality premium music from unknown artists, but like, you know, well, proper produced, nice, beautiful music as opposed to production stock music.
My question is, I'm right here next to this guy. Who do you view as your competition? Moon Media?
Yes. Moon Media is one of the largest instant media companies in the world, probably the largest. We actually teamed up with many of their competitors in the background music services business. But funny enough, we also teamed up with the leading Dutch telecom operator, and we give them the stickiness that any telecom operator in the world needs, because at this moment they're selling, you know, less minutes, less text messages, because, you know, WhatsApp and all the other companies are around there. So they need new products and customers to, you know, hang around with a telecom operator. So we build APIs, we build cloud services, and we actually build those cloud services on a telecom billing platform that's being used by 75% of all the telecom operators around the world. So we can scale now to AT&T, Verizon, Telefonica, Liberty Global, and all the ones around with the same APIs that we've already developed. And if that doesn't scale Mood Media, I don't know what will scale them.
What's your competitive advantage over the other companies that are doing this?
At the moment, there are 3 companies in the world doing this. Funny enough, one of them is based in the States, the other 2 are based in Europe. Probably for the main reason, Europe has not just one legal system. You know, it's like 25 different entities, neighboring rights organizations, collecting societies, and we have spent the last 7 years together with these law firms and legal advisors to tackle all these individual issues, which makes us, you know, we're not light years ahead of the game. That's silly to say, but, you know, it gives us a few years head start of most of the competitors, because we're coming from Europe and we're now going global, as opposed to coming from the US with one legal system and trying to tap into different markets. Your market is so big that, you know, we're one legal entity that was good enough. So that's one of the biggest advantages.
Just to clarify that point, so you're saying that going through the hoops in Europe is basically covering what you need to be able to expand here?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah, to be honest, the US is one of the easiest markets to tap into. You have ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC in this country. They're competing amongst each other. Funny enough, that gives us a lot of space to, you know, maneuver and even work with them, because in the US, every single artist, big time, small time, is allowed to opt out some of their tracks and opt in with Tribe of Noise. In Europe, you couldn't do that. EU law changed last year and gave us a big new opportunity to go after, you know, main artists ask them to opt out some of their material until we try the noise.
If I'm an artist in the US, can I join?
Absolutely. And as long as I'm running the show, it's always and it will always be free of charge for musicians, because in general musicians don't have money. And if I can make money for them, then we will share the revenue.
Really quick question. What's the name of the U.S. competition company?
I think the closest that is to our competitor is called music dealers here in the States. They have different licensing models, so they work for Coca-Cola,
Have
for
you heard,
example.
it's not Sound Lily, have you heard of them?
I'm sorry?
Is it Sound Lily? Oh, yeah, Sound Lily.
No. And some of the names, that's the other thing, some of the names that you are familiar with are completely unknown to other markets outside of the US. So for example, one of the biggest players, I think, in music licensing and internet radio stations around America is Pandora. If you go into any bar in Europe or Australia, well, Australia they're covering now, but in many places outside of the US, nobody ever heard of Pandora.
Hi. Hey, just wondering, on the revenue split, you mentioned the musician only gets 42 cents out of every dollar?
Yeah,
That's wondering if you could explain that, when
Sure.
most of the licensing services, you usually do a 50-50 deal, or maybe you can speak in terms of side A, side B, the way the industry usually talks about the licensing?
Absolutely. And that's that's also one of the things I'm lacking is I'm not a native speaker, and I see beautiful presentations coming out of the US trying to convince independent artists to sign with them, and they speak of it's a fair system, let's share 50-50. But if you go into the small prints of most of these contracts, you will actually see that they deduct a lot of things before they do the 50-50 split. So what we said, let's start with 100%. We will deduct 15% for anything like credit card fraud, deals that are, can go wrong, and other things. That leaves us with 85%, and that 85% is split half-half. If we do our job well, that 15% that we actually deducted goes to Tribe of Noise and reinvested in the music space as well. But we think it's a more fair story to say, like, from every gross euro or dollar that we make, 42.5% goes to the artist.
All right, we're officially out of time. Tribe of Noise. Thank you so much. Sorry about